Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cruise Beginner Guide. This is something I decided to do because I met a couple people a few days ago where there was even people that were like 200 and over that were asking questions about things that are kind of basic for the game. And the game doesn't really explain it, so I want to kind of do an all-in-one beginner's guide because things have changed so much since this game has came out, and now that we have these events going on, it's gotten even more complicated. And I remember when I first got on, it was the most overwhelming thing in the world. So we are going to go through literally everything. I will put in the description at some point in time the times on what I'm talking about. So let's get this started. So the first things first is navigating, being able to do what you want to do the quickest way possible. I'm going to go through this on two different ways. So we're going to go through map navigation first. Alright, so while you're in the game, when this loads, excuse me. Sometimes it takes a minute, especially when you first start the game. So, as you get into it more, it doesn't take as well for it to load. But the first time you start it up, always takes a minute. But anyway, you're gonna hit the select button, which is the button on the left side of the Xbox button. If you're on Xbox, I use PlayStation lingo when it comes down to those two buttons. It's select and start. So, now that you're in the map, you can zoom out and you can see all the things you have. And when you start, you don't have that many things that's on the map. But once you get to the level I am, it tends to get a little overwhelming. So the first thing you want to do is you want to hit open filters. If you want to try and do something, you go just hit the right D-pad, and you'll get into events, and you'll be able to change which ones you do. Like let's say something you haven't done yet, or something you've already done and you just want to spam it. And then there's difficulty. There's certain ones you haven't done on each difficulty. Then there's the types. There's the classic modes, and there's the Motorflix modes, which is the chase races, I guess you could call them. And then you have your vehicles, where you can switch from car, bike, boat. Just remember, it tends to select everything, so you want to try and deselect it when you choose it. There's even your family, where that is going to be like the different classes, or you'll see it in your activities menu. You have like 4 different sections that you can get into, and this will go into those sections. And you can do all of these all at the same time for your different sections. So let's say I wanted to do a lab event, but you want to do one with boats or planes. See, planes doesn't have live events, so let's say you don't want to do a live event, and you just want to do something with boats. It'll pull up boats. If you want to just do something with planes, you can pull up planes. You can even go into family. Let's say you just want to do your freestyle racing. Boom, there you go. And then there's your skills. You can do the same thing with your skills. Even like the different highlights. The highlights are like longest ground drift or highest jump or stuff like that. Then there's also, if you're just trying to be a completionist, you can go into your start menu and you can go and hit RB to get to your activities. And it'll show, the chase. You can go into all the stuff that is for the motor flicks, which that one's new. And then you can go into street racing, and it'll show, this guy right here. He's your champion of this section. You want to get your percentage up to a certain level before you can unlock him, which is just an overall percentage level of, I do believe, 50%. You can go into here and you can literally just go into the specific races for those. So that one's street race, this one's hypercar, and I'll even show you recommended levels. You can change the difficulty before you travel, and you can even get to your skills in your photo albums before you decide to go somewhere. There's also your live extremes, and you can even access the PvP from this area, which I do believe will just fast travel you over to the Street Race HQ, which is nifty if you're trying to buy a vehicle or trying to get to PvP. I haven't tried it yet, so that makes it a bit difficult to explain that side of things, so I won't get into that one. But the same thing happens if you hit the live summit. It'll fast travel you to the live summit screen that is over there. I have rewards to collect right now. And there is also, in each HQ, there is an ultimate vehicle. Once you beat the champion for the street race, you'll be able to come over here and collect this vehicle. And the same thing goes for each and every other class. You have to go and grab it from the HQ to be able to use it. Granted, most of them kinda suck. The only one I actually really use is the Hovercraft. Yeah, I think the only one I use is the Hovercraft. Yeah. What else? Let's see here. What else is there while we're here? Oh. If you have loot that you weren't able to to collect, and it says it's been moved to your HQ, depending on what you were driving, let's say it was your freestyle plane, it will go to your freestyle HQ. If you were doing your hypercar, it will go to the street racing HQ. And it will go to this little mailbox that you can collect those equipment from. Press RT to run, make things faster. See, I have something in here. If you see parts in there, that means you actually do have something to collect. I'm just gonna scrap these because I don't need them. And it disappears as soon as you collect it. Now, while we're here, we're gonna go into the live summit. So the live summits, these are greatest ways to get yourself leveled up really quickly. All you have to do is get bronze for that spot, and you'll be completely okay. I actually got gold for the last one, so I ended up getting more out of it. But you go to the event that you're in, and it has different things you have to do, and you have to have like certain specific cars, and for some of them, and what you do is you just get points to be able to move up through the ranks. And the better you do at each one, the better your points are. You also, every time you hit over 100,000 in all of them, you get a bonus. So let's say you did this escape and this hypercar interception unit thing, and you got 230,000 collectively. You'll get the first 2 bonuses, and so on and so forth. Now we're gonna quit, and from that selection you can actually fast travel to those spots. Now let's say you don't have the cars that you need for this specific event that you're trying to go for. You can actually come over here and you can go over here and you'll find that there's a named bundle for the event, and you'll be able to purchase this bundle, and it will give you each car for a significantly less price than you would buying it on their own. I want that one so bad. Anywho, this bundle is only 3 million when you end up getting cars that are probably about a total of 8. I believe. I know the 3 cars are about 2 million a piece. I don't know how much the bike is. So that's a good way to get your cars. You just look at your bundles, see which ones you want to go for, and aim for that goal in your money. Now you can also access the Motorpass from here, but you can also access it from the start menu, which I'm going to use the start menu for this because it's just a lot easier to do so. So you go to activities, or not activities, profile, and you go into the Motorpass. So with the Motorpass, you have challenges that you do daily, and there's also seasonal challenges. You see the daily challenges here, and while you're highlighted on seasonal challenge like I am right now, you can hit it, and it'll actually pull up your seasonal challenges, and each one has certain specific medals that it gives out for completing each level of these events. Like, let's say, like this one is going to be your first out of X amount of medals. It'll give you 2, which is the little M at the bottom right there. You'll see it tier up as you go, and you'll see it as a complete with those little yellow check marks on those boxes. You can even pin them, that way you can see them while you're driving to be able to track what you need to do next. You can pin up to 2. And right here is where you can see how much you need to level up. So like, let's say Mud Everywhere gives you 2 medals, you need 6. So you can do Mud Everywhere and that'll give you 2 out of your 6. Hobbies. Hobbies is basically something that kind of tends to happen while you're going. You have weekly challenges that you can do to give you stars for it, but there's also other challenges that you can do inside those challenges that will give you stars for those specific spots. And as you can see right here, you can see where you are in the tier to be unlocking things, and each one has its own specific vehicle that you can unlock. You can even switch it through different filters, and it's pretty much all you need for hobbies. Another thing is that vehicles cannot be sold, so make sure you're getting vehicles that you specifically need. Wow. That's different. Okay. Alright, so so while we're in vehicles, so you can actually see which one is which. So up here on the top right, you'll be able to see you have your handling, your top speed, your power, and your distance. And then on top of that is your performance level. Your performance level is the performance level of your parts, is the average number of what your parts are. And as you go up in level, you'll be able to get parts higher level and higher level until you hit that max level. Best way to do things is always equip the part that is higher than what you have equipped right now. I know it's kind of bad when you end up losing a yellow for something that's only 3 levels higher than you, but you only get parts that are equal to your level or higher. So it definitely helps in bringing you up to max level. That way you are getting higher rarities in the first place. So let's say this one right here is 160. I will only be able to get parts that are like, let's say this exhaust right here. This exhaust is 151. I can only get something that is 151 or higher because I am already 160. Now, with this one right here, I can only get 160 or higher. And if I had a part like, let's say 186, I can get something that might be higher, but because my car is only 160, I will get anything that's from 160 or higher. So it basically goes off of whichever one is lower, whichever level is lower on your parts. Then there is the big question that I have heard all the time. Let's go to one of my maxes because hypercar. This guy has nothing but legendaries on it. And as you can tell, the difference between, well, let's go to another one I have. Let's say maybe this one. Okay, so this one. You can see that there is the purples and the yellows. The yellows have a white symbol on it. The white symbol is the set that the legendary is a part of. And if you go into that part and you hit affix, you'll be able to see the different things that you get from that part. And on the set bonus, once you have all of your parts in that set bonus, it unlocks the set bonus's skill. Now, scrap. How you use scrap is that you use it to recalibrate the ones that you can actually calibrate. You can't recalibrate your set bonuses, but you can recalibrate the ones right here. And the way you can tell if you're at a max roll for that part is that little range stat at the bottom. So the range stat is the lowest that you can possibly have and the highest you can possibly have on the roll. So I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm gonna recalibrate this one. You have to hold the A button to get it to recalibrate. And you can see that it says it has 3 different options. You can either keep the one that you have, or you can go with one of these rolls right here. I'm gonna go with this one just because it has a higher per capita range. You can select that, and now that is your part. But you can also just keep on redoing it to see if you can get better rolls, as long as you have the scrap and the money to be able to do so. Then, if you go over to your pilot, you can actually go into your gallery, which lets you view all the pictures you have taken that you decided to save. And then there's your timeline, where you can actually collect parts and vehicles that you have earned by your level. And how this works is that it will go with whatever you are driving at the time. So let's say you're driving your street car. If your street car is the thing that you are driving at that time, it will drop for your street car. If you switch over to your plane and then you hit collect, it will drop for your plane. Then there's your narratives. Your narratives is something that unlocks as you complete the normal difficulties of all your races. And you can come over here and you can play them from either by piece, or you can play all in one go. Which is kind of nice, but it's not really necessary considering when you unlock it, it plays automatically. Icon points. Icon points are basically the bread and butter of the game. I myself, I don't really care what my icon points are put into. I have put into here just because these four kind of really help with your loot quality and your money gain, but I decided to start going with maxing out my points. And you get one in each for each specific level. So like let's say if I decided to level if I ended up leveling up to icon 298, I will get a point for comfort. And then once I get to 299, I'll get one for vehicle. Once I hit level 300, I'll get one for gameplay. And you just use them to allocate in your spot. And if you are having troubles with certain things, like let's say you're having trouble with your drift and you're having trouble trying to gain the points that you need for your drift, but you don't have any points, all you have to do is hold X to reset your page, and it will give you back all your stuff, and you can reallocate as you need. And then here's your stats. That's basically self-explanatory. It's your statistics of your overall game. Now, gameplay-wise, if you're struggling with something, if you're really struggling with something, like let's say you're having a problem with drift. Drifting is something that I struggled with when I first started. So I'm going to give you guys tips on what you can do to get yourself better. So I'm just going to favorite that one as my ground for this video. And we're going to fast travel from the HQ, and if you look over here, there's this airstrip right here. You can see that there's a couple of things right here for me. I can literally just travel to one of those, and it puts me there. Now, one thing that people don't know about is that sometimes it's better to switch your cameras. Sometimes it's just better to switch your cameras. Like, my hypercar, I cannot drive that thing worth a darn in first person. I can't really drift a lot well on first person either because I need to be able to look out myself. So I can play a little closer to my car. And this is a great place right here to kind of understand how your journey works. It's a great place where there's literally no traffic unless somebody else is over here practicing. And you can literally just, there's very few obstructions, and those little obstructions will kind of help you a bit too. You can literally just sit here and just play around with it. Literally just gun the gas and use your left stick to make yourself slide. I have to say, try not to use your emergency brake. I really don't use my emergency brake at all in this game. And you can kind of fiddle around with it, try to get a little more used to it. Get used to being able to switch yourself around and start using your nitrous to see what it does to you. And then once you're done with that, come over here. And you can teleport over here. Or where is it? Let's see here. Let me see if I can. Oh, well, I just went into the video screen. Whoops. Alright, open filters, do default. I said default. Close filters. Now, let's see if there's something I can teleport to. Well, I'll just hit right stick, and you can select with your right stick your favorites. And then right stick, car. Now, this is a great way to learn how to maintain your vehicle. You just go around in this little circle. And sometimes traffic gets really young, and sometimes rains right here, and so that'll help you with kind of learning how to control in inclement weather. I don't think any of the drifting races snows, but I haven't played them enough to be able to tell you if that's a thing. But as you can see, I can keep a constant drift while trying to dodge cars, but failing at the same time. And once you get a handle on being able to maintain it one way, just flip yourself around and try the other way. And this really helps. I mean, this is how I did it, and I actually had to look up tips on how to do this. So I have to say thanks to the people that I watched doing this. And then once you get comfortable, you can just go over here and just start going around town, learning how to do it. Another way that'll really help, because there are times where you will go off-road trying to make a big drift on the races, is going over to dirt places. Once you've learned that you can learned all you can in this little area, you start going into places with dirt roads, and it is a completely different feel. Absolutely different feel. So that'll help you control the difference between going from asphalt to off-road and get you those really big points. Another thing that I've seen people having trouble with is boats. Boats, especially the jet sprints, are some of the hardest things to deal with. In fact, I even get annoyed with them sometimes, especially jet sprints. Specifically the jet sprints. Those are literally the worst thing in the world. But if you go over into skills and you go into buoy smashing, that will also help you too, because it is usually some open stuff that will help you kind of learn how to maneuver your vehicle. Oh, it's on my favorite. I'm going to switch over to my jet sprint. Alright, so you go into buoy smashing. A little tip is that if you go down on your left stick, it will give you some more speed. If you go forward with your left stick, it will give you more cornering with less speed. And this is a great way to figure out. It's a great way to figure out your maneuverability with the jet sprints, and you can even do this with your power boats. And even though you don't rack up as many points, you still get the benefits of being able to learn how your power boat maneuvers. Let's see here. anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? What can I think of? The hovercrafts. Hovercrafts are something that's a little difficult to work with, but I'm gonna go into a race for this one. It's the easiest way to really show you how these work. I'm going to go with the beginning one, and I'm just going to do it on normal just to be able to give you guys a kind of like a basic tutorial while having to not deal with everyone else. If you are a smaller hovercraft, stay away from everyone. You will get run over, toppled over. Sometimes you won't be able to move because you're stuck in a corner and everybody else is being a bully. But if you get the bigger hovercrafts are like freaking tanks. They will push everyone out of their way while still being able to hit a higher top speed but a lower acceleration. Now, to be able to take turns in the hovercraft, you want to start your turn.
It's pretty remote out here, isn't it? I had trouble finding the place.
Remote's how we like it.
Drifting,
thanks for lending us your hovercraft.
Thanks for letting me gator rush.
More predicting.
Hope you don't mind if I crush you.
I don't mind losing if you don't.
Get real. You're both gonna lose my friend out there.
Because if you try to turn, when you get to the turn, you will just go way past your destination. And it'll slow you down.
Wow.
Even though most of the
a lot of
turns
inertia on these
are
things.
Pretty big,
feels like driving a crab.
It feels like adrenaline. And that's what I'm here for.
If you miss the turn. So you want to predict your turn before you get there. It just takes a little bit of practice to be able to
if you can hold
get
it,
the feel for
these
it.
things don't break that much, so I'm just gonna have to speed up.
But as you can tell, I'm kind of not focused. But you can tell the difference between when I miss the turn and when I actually do turn before the turn. And another little thing is that if you have nitrous, use it to kind of like enhance your turning, because you get into your turn and then you hit nitrous and it'll kind of help straighten you out. You'll just have to again practice to be able to understand how the nitro
I like
works.
this all-in-one vehicle.
Of turning.
My pickup doesn't handle this well in swamps.
Nitro helps a lot with turning. But now let's say you messed up, or let's say you're in multiplayer and you weren't able to join and the other person starts. You're that other person. Hit Y. And you can change your radio from here, and you can hit retry, or you can hit abort. You'll have to hold the button to be able to get it to abort, and boom, there you go. Now, with multiplayer, you don't always have to go through your party. You can actually, as long as you're friends with the person, or they are in your session. That's the word I was trying to look for. You can go over here and you can hit crew management, and you'll be able to see who's in your session and who in your friends is online, and you'll be able to invite them from there to your crew. Now, if that person is already in a crew, you won't be able to invite them. It'll literally just say, this person would like to be like to play with you, but they are already in a group. And the same thing will happen with events. If you try to start an event while other people are in events, they will say they weren't able to join because they were already because an event was already started. And I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the comments. I hope I got everything for you guys. It's been really rough one, and there's a lot to deal with in this game. So I hope I got everything for you guys, and I will see you in other videos. If you would like, hit that like button, the subscribe button, and you can visit any of my other videos. I'll see you guys some other time. Bye bye.